You're listening to The Bird Bath. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by NVA Canada. Are you a US or Canadian licensed veterinarian looking to expand your horizons, dreaming of a new life in a stunningly picturesque part of Atlantic Canada? Make your dream a reality at Humber Veterinary Clinic in Corner Brook, Newfoundland and Labrador. Your dream job and new lifestyle come with a $50,000 to $100,000 Canadian dollar signing bonus, immigration and relocation support, and low-cost oceanside living. Be part of a team-first culture that supports your growth in a modern and well-equipped facility with the potential for leadership and partial ownership. Learn more about this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity at Humber Veterinary Clinic by emailing careers@nvacanada.ca or click on the link in our show notes. Welcome back to The Bird Bath. Each week we scrape the surface of the news you need to know, so let's get into it. Top story this week is a new bill that's been announced in New York. New York Assembly Bill 9042 would add a new article to the Agriculture and Markets Law, creating a layer of oversights in veterinary industry transactions that's both new and somewhat familiar for people in New York. The new law would require acquiring entities of veterinary clinics, which they define to include veterinary providers, practices and groups, as well as management service organizations, or MSOs, which provide a way for non-veterinarians to own clinics in veterinary states. That requires them to submit written notice and supporting documentation to the Department of Agriculture and Markets of any transaction involving what they call material changes no later than 14 days after the transaction has been signed and prior to closing. This is a law that's somewhat similar to what they have for the human medicine. Anytime there's a human medicine transaction in the state of New York, there's a requirement of notice, and it's PHL Article 45A if you want to look it up. But the big difference here is that the disclosure there requires them to just give written notice to the Department of Health at least 30 days prior to closing. But the new Assembly Bill law would empower the Attorney General to block a veterinary clinic transaction deemed to be what they call against the public interest, which means if the opinion of the Attorney General says that the transaction has one of the following impacts, it could be against the public interest. They say if it reduces competition or increases cost of veterinary care, it provides unfair methods of competition or deceptive acts or practices in or affecting veterinary care commerce, reduces the quality of care, including below standard of care or care that is not in the best interest of patients, reduces access or availability of veterinary care, or reduced access to care in a rural, low-income, or disadvantaged community. So pretty interesting. This is definitely a state stepping up and inserting themselves into the practice acquisitions that we've seen happening. It's interesting, especially to see in New York, because I believe it was earlier this year or late last year that we talked about the closing of one of the only ERs serving a place in Northwest New York. And this was kind of an interesting idea. It was a clinic that was acquired. I don't know if it would have gotten blocked, but eventually it was shut down. And the reason it was shut down by the owners, they say that it was due to unavailable staffing, but others could argue that it was more so just an issue of availability or a reduction of access to care in a rural area. So definitely an interesting bill to keep track of. Obviously, it was just introduced, but I always like to keep my eye on these things because when you see it happen in one state, you start to see this happen in more. So keep your eyes on Assembly Bill 9042 out of New York, and let's see what else we've got coming up. Speaking of some more approvals by ruling bodies, accreditors for the COE with the AVMA have okayed the second location of Lincoln Memorial's veterinary school. The letter of reasonable assurance to the LMU program in Florida, which is in Orange Park, which is kind of in the Jacksonville area, allows them to begin accepting students. Their application portal is now open and it will remain open through October 31st. Provisional accreditation is granted on the date that first class starts, and the school becomes fully accredited after the first class graduates. So it's still a few years, 3 years actually, in the LMU Florida version, but pretty interesting to see here. The inaugural class is expected to be at 150 students, and it would be the 37th veterinary school in the US if all of the planned schools move forward. Now, if you're wondering why LMU opening another campus is such an important story, first off, we see a lot of people announcing schools, and it's neat to see one taking these next steps. But LMU also has an active lawsuit against the AVMA, stating that the AVMA and the COE are in many ways anti-competitive and causing an issue with the availability or the ability for these schools to be able to graduate students. On September 3rd, the AVMA filed a motion to dismiss the lawsuit, stating that LMU's claims are not ripe for adjudication. As of now, the suit is still pending, but we are keeping up to date on it. But this approval of a new school, which it seemed like they were worried, LMU was somewhat worried if it would receive the accreditation because of some modifications to the curriculum. Getting this approval or in this accreditation does somewhat stifle some of the cases that they have in the suit. So interested to see. I think we'll see more come through here, or it could just be something that kind of fizzles away as people move on and decide that accreditation can continue. Gallant has announced a cool new program, GallantU. It's a comprehensive CE platform preparing veterinary professionals for the regenerative medicine era. GallantU has courses covering science, clinical use, and future potential of allogenic, ready-to-use stem cell therapies, which is a new class of drugs actively explored for their ability to modulate immune responses, reduce inflammation, and help restore health at the source. Dr. Rebecca Windsor, who's the Director of Veterinary Affairs at Gallant, said, "Seeing the impact of stem cell therapy has been extraordinary. Watching pets who might otherwise have faced euthanasia or lifelong medical management truly improve." This is a great new course. They've got a ton of opportunities here for people to sort of dig into what the future holds. Gallant is on the cutting edge of stem cell therapies, and they're the ones that are going to be bringing this to your vet clinics. So the opportunity here to not only learn more about it, but also get some free CE while you take these on-demand as well as live courses is a huge opportunity. So make sure to check out GallantU to learn more. Ring the alarm here. If you are a veterinary student, Embrace Pet Insurance has put out a scholarship to help aspiring shelter veterinarians. The Embrace Pet Insurance Scholarship is recognizing dedicated professionals by awarding $5,000 to 5 aspiring veterinary students passionate about shelter medicine. It's an opportunity for 3rd or 4th year students in good standing at an AVMA COE accredited school, we talked about that already, to be able to get some additional help paying for their bills and paying for those student debts. So you have to be a U.S. citizen. You have to demonstrate an intention to work in shelter medicine upon graduation. You've got through the end of September to apply. They're going to review them next month, and then money is coming out fall of 2025. Embrace did this also last year. They put out another $25,000. So this is another round of $25,000 worth of scholarships. So spectacular to see. So if you are a student, or if you have a student that you know that is interested or excited about taking part in shelter medicine, send them the link, make sure they check it out. Finally, I just want to take a second here and open up some personal stuff for everyone here. Today, on Monday, when I'm recording this, we unfortunately spent the afternoon saying goodbye to my big golden retriever, Walter. He was undoubtedly one of the most special dogs I could have ever dreamed of. He was my first dog. He was the dog that really showed me what the human-animal bond can mean. He was an incredible, incredible partner and buddy and sidekick and communicator and everything that our dog's going to be for us. So I want to thank the team at PetVet365 who was so caring with this really difficult time and difficult decision. And To everyone out there that, spends your days trying to improve the lives of these animals that we really get the opportunity to love and take care of, and the people that are, working to battle cancer, which was what really took him, and just every person that listens to this show and has a way to impact the lives of our animals, I want to personally thank you. And yeah, I will miss my buddy Walter. So yeah, I'm going to miss my buddy Walter. He was really, really special. And yeah, it's not the normal end to a show, but this is what's going on. This is sort of what's happening behind the microphone. And so I appreciate everyone that ever did anything great for him or for my other dog, Rosie. And thank you all. And for more on these and other stories, you can join us by subscribing to our Substack. As always, there's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes by subscribing and rating the show. For the Bird Bath, I'm Ryan Leach. Thank you all again. See you next week.